and we've seen this before, these patriotic frenzies, and wartime, they declare, it's very convenient having an undeclared war that you can call a war and impose military tribunals and wartime security. And then we got these generals telling us that this war is going to go on for a long, long time. Maybe it's not so much the generals now. The generals are a little afraid to invade Iraq, a little worried about it. But it's the civilians in the White House, this gang of thieving, just lobbyists for the military-industrial complex.
This is a 10-minute clip. I meant to cut it down before airtime, and I don't think we're going to have time to play it all, but he goes in, they say, did this help the Bush administration? He says, absolutely, it helped him. Yeah, it's really suspicious. And I'm going to post it on the web again at prisonplanet.com for folks that want to hear it. And it's actually an hour-long interview. This is a 10-minute cut down. But then, I talked to one of the editors at a major Canadian paper who was friends with him. I talked to others. I got some of his correspondences where he was saying, they blew those buildings up, controlled demolitions. I'm going to go public about it. And then he supposedly committed suicide. And I know his son was home at the time and didn't see it happen, but said, it looked like he killed himself. But obviously, Eva, you've heard the people that are out there who are suspicious that Hunter S. Thompson didn't kill himself, though he always talked about how he was going to kill himself. So, you think it's pretty clear he did kill himself?
Yeah, we've actually got footage in the film of him with his longtime collaborator and illustrator, Ralph Steadman, when he was quite young, visiting a morgue and pre-planning his funeral with him. He'd always talked about killing himself. When the time was right, it was going to happen. So I don't actually think that there's any evidence to dispute that. He was at home with his family.
Why did he want to kill himself? Was that him trying to take control of his life at the end, or?
I think he'd always had this crazy death wish, and he'd always talked about it since he was really young and healthy. But when he died, he was in failing health. He was a guy who'd been really, so productive and so amazing and so talented and so successful. However, he was a huge drinker and a huge drug taker, and his health was starting to fail him. And I just think it just got to a point where he just couldn't take it anymore. So it was no huge surprise, although all of his longtime amazing friends who talk in the film and family all say something that to me is another really powerful part of the film. And I think Jimmy Buffett, the really talented musician, actually says, it's fun reminiscing about him, it's fun talking about him, but I really miss him. And the most tragic thing is that he could have wielded a pretty powerful sword right now against what's going on in this country.
Well, so many people respect him that he could have really exposed what happened. And then I think he would have been the type when the Democrats get it and carry out the same tyranny. I think he would have spoken.
Totally. He was pretty across the board like that. And I think also the other thing that I really like about the film whenever I do press screenings and stuff is it sort of feels to me like the end of the film kind of is incredibly inspiring, and I feel like it's a call to arms to young journalists to get a bit of gonzo and start asking tough questions and writing articles that are madly critical about what's going on, and just really start messing with people. I was watching George Bush's press conference that he did yesterday, and I was watching the media just asking these incredibly lame questions, and just someone should just break out and go a little crazy. And really
that's why I agree, and you've done a great job. I can't wait to see this film, Taxi to the Dark Side. I saw that at the Arbor here in Austin, and it just blew me away, and I bet that's where this is showing. I kept waiting for it to come out, and then suddenly it's the day to interview Eva, and I'm like, you informed me it's out. I'm gonna go run off and see it as soon as.
I think you'll like it.
Oh, well, I was totally blown away by your last film, Taxi to the Dark Side, and I do want to try to get the director on as well, because he witnessed also so much of the information as well. Yeah. What is it like winning an Academy Award?
Oh, it's pretty good fun, Alex.
You can take it, if it comes. It
was a really, magical experience, and it was even better and sweeter for us because we made a film that really a lot of people didn't want us to make. We made a film that was really hard to finance. Most of our films are a lot easier to finance. No one wanted to put money into it because at the end of the day, at the time, everyone was like, who wants to make a film about torture? And so it was such sweet vindication. And also, of all the films nominated, all the feature feature documentaries nominated this year, ours was by far the darkest. So it was a real nod from members of the Academy, our filmmaking peers and the industry. That's such a dark, challenging film.
Let me elaborate on that.
Recognition.
I mean, people criticize me saying I'm being negative. No, ignoring these bad things is what is negative. And lancing the wound, treating it, admitting these bad things are going on, also gets our name back to a certain extent. I know some of your filmmakers are American, others are from other countries, but we appreciate it. The fact that this can be exposed so it doesn't continue to happen. And so, how dare those? I know I saw some criticism of this is negative and anti-American. No, it's not. Torturing innocent people is un-American.
Exactly. And the great thing about the film, too, is it's going to screen on HBO uncut in September, just before the elections, which is really, I think, going to be fantastic, and I think it'll get a lot of exposure. So that's really exciting. And, the other thing that was, we made it, we finished it about well over a year ago, so, we started making it like 3 years ago, and one of my concerns at the time, which is now is so bittersweetly funny, but, one of my concerns was, God, what if this is just incredibly irrelevant by the time it comes out? What if it's all over? What if Guantanamo's closed? What if, this isn't a discussion anymore? And it's just, this morning I was driving to an appointment and I was listening to NPR, and Jane Mayer, who was one of a huge help in the film, she's a New Yorker journalist who broke a lot of stories about torture over the last couple of years. She's just put a book out that's called The Dark Side, and it's, it's really
and now we've got
as our film.
Exactly. Now we have the Red Cross coming out and saying war crimes. Now the gauntlet's down to the establishment, not the American Red Cross, International Red Cross folks, different folks, saying you did this, you need to be punished. Final segment with Eva Orner, straight ahead. She is an Academy Award winner for Taxi to the Dark Side. We'll talk about that film when we get back. Eva Orner slams U.S. government as war criminals. Herald Sun, all over these big newspapers. She's bold, she's got a lot of courage, and I just am honored to even know her. She's a very sweet lady, too. I've been interviewed by a couple of mainstream TV networks, Discovery Channel, History Channel, or not Discovery, it was History and somebody else, and they've been real mean to us. So she called up and said, we're with Discovery Channel, we want to do it. And I was like yelling at her meanly. She still turned the other cheek, and they turned out to be great folks. But making so many big films. Gonzo is the one in theaters across the country right now. You'll want to go see that. And she was just telling me during the break that Taxi to the Dark Side is going to be screening on HBO in the next few months. She'll give us the exact date in a moment. You want to see this. It's very disturbing, though. And I mean, you want to see who they're torturing to death. You'll get a chance. Young men, young kids, totally innocent. The sickos they had doing it. The orders to do it. And then it's going to be on DVD, and I'm going to get a hold of these. I'm going to have these on the website, but they'll be in stores as well. You need to show this to everybody. Eva Orner, do you have the exact date of when it's going to be screening on HBO?
I actually don't, but it's going to be definitely September, and they're going to be screening it uncut, and there'll be a lot of publicity surrounding it. And then after it screens on HBO, it'll be widely available on DVD.
By uncut, is that more hardcore than the theater?
No, it's the theater cut, but, I think a lot of networks, the reason we love that HBO is showing it is because they're going to show it uncut, and it's definitely challenging, and there are definitely really disturbing scenes in it. So.
You've got some video and photos. You've got some video and photos that were never put on the news, folks. Some of this is XXX. And we don't mean that in a good way.
We had amazing access, and incredible researchers, and we got a lot of footage that nobody's seen before, so... It's definitely a disturbing and thought-provoking film.
Yeah, folks, you'll actually be inside the torture pits, not the sanitized stuff you saw on the news. And I know that's horrible to say, but you think it's cute seeing movies like Hostel and stuff. It's not cute. It's not funny. You need to see Taxi to the Dark Side. In closing, you've had a lot of courage. Is it fulfilling to know you're really doing good in the world, Eva?
It's really good at a time like this when the world doesn't feel like the greatest place in my lifetime. Anyway, it feels good to be making stuff that is thought-provoking and challenging and provocative and makes a difference, in some small way. Yeah, it's really inspiring, and that's the sort of stuff that I hope to continue to do.
But it's not in a small way. They wouldn't fund you. People told you don't make it. You did it. You won the Oscar. and now you're catapulting with another huge film. I just love the success story, Eva, and I love watching from afar your success, because that's what floats my boat in life, is seeing other people succeed through adversity, and there's nothing more beautiful. We're going to get your director of Taxi to the Dark Side and Gonzo on, because I can also interview him about his Enron film, The Smartest Guys in the Room, and that's going to be interesting as well. Give out some of the websites for your film company or any other info.
You can the website for the Alex Gibney's company is jigsawprods.com, and there's the website for the Hunter S. Thompson movie, which is, I believe, let me just double check, hunterthompsonmovie.com, where you can see the trailer and read all about it and read the press kit.
And by the way, Johnny Depp is narrating the new Gonzo film.
Yeah, and he's in it as well. He's interviewed as well. He's pretty terrific.
Yeah, neat guy. Okay, thank you so much for spending time with us, Eva.
My pleasure, Alex. Take care.
You bet. I'm going to go see your movie and then call you back. What a sweet lady. What a smart lady.